All right. So Donald Trump was out giving a speech on July 4th. People were annoyed that the Parks Department had to spend millions of dollars to accommodate tanks on trailers, I guess, or I don't know.
Platforms.
So ridiculous and stupid. And apparently people got soaked there and didn't enjoy themselves, which is great. And here's Donald Trump. I mean, again, this is one of those situations where if you were living in a repressive regime and you were a cameraman, you would be like, how can I send a message without being held to it, right? Like, this is why like satire exists. And here it is, an image of Donald Trump with like on a rain-streaked plexiglass. I guess I don't know if they claimed, I don't even know how they described this, if they claimed that there was a malfunction with the teleprompter. But here's Donald Trump talking about the Revolutionary War and making some pretty bad
anachronisms.
Yeah, I guess so.
It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
Wait, go back earlier. You need to lead into that a little bit more. Yeah, go back a little bit earlier. Okay.
It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. And at Fort McHenry, under the rocket's red glare, it had nothing but victory. And when dawn came, their star-spangled banner waved defiant.
Just to remind you, he's talking about the Revolutionary War. Now, one of the major military failures of George Washington was to expend so much resources in building airports at a time where we did not have airplanes. There was a very controversial choice, but...
Well, that was one of the earliest
splits Benedict
in
Arnold's
our politics. That Jefferson was fiercely opposed to airport
Benedict Arnold was like, it's like, build it.
We're going to future-proof our...
Wait, it turns out instead of being a traitor, Benedict Arnold was just an early Silicon Valley guy.
So I'm just future envisioning.
In June of 1775, the Continental Congress created a unified army out of the revolutionary forces encamped around Boston and New York, and named after the great George Washington, Commander-in-Chief. The Continental Army suffered a bitter winter of Valley Forge, found glory across...
after George Washington? Or they named George Washington
George Washington's middle name was Army.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
The waters of the Delaware and seized victory from Cornwallis of Yorktown. Our army manned the airports. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
Wait, go back. What did he swallowed something? Like, it's possible that there was a malfunction in the teleprompter, which makes this even worse because it means like he literally had no idea what words were coming out of his mouth. Like, he didn't even know what century he was talking about. Go back just a little bit more. I mean, just a little bit. Right there.
Seized victory from Cornwallis of Yorktown. Our army manned the airports. It ran
the what? The airports?
It took the airports. Yorktown. Our army manned the airports. It ran the ramparts.
The airports?
It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do. And at Fort McHenry, under the rocket's red glare, it had nothing but victory. And when dawn came, their star-spangled banner waved defiant. At Shiloh, Antietam, and Gettysburg, our soldiers gave the last full measure of devotion for the true unity of our nation and the freedom of all Americans.
Oh, he's got the Adderall
In
thing
the
going or
trenches of
whatever it is
World
that he
War
does.
I, an Army sergeant named Alvin York faced an inferno of enemy fire and refused to retreat. He said, "I won't leave," and refused to enemy fire and refused to retreat. He said, "I won't leave, I won't stop." He shot his rifle 18 times, killing 18 of the enemy. When they fixed bayonets and charged, he killed 7 more. The entire German machine gun battalion surrendered because of one man, Alvin York. A generation later, the Army returned to Europe and embarked upon a great crusade. With knives and rifles in hand, the Rangers scaled the cliffs of Normandy. The 101st Airborne leapt into the danger from above, illuminated only by enemy flares, explosions, and burning aircraft. They threw back the Nazi Empire with lightning of their own from the turrets of Sherman tanks.
He doesn't know
and the
anything that
barrels.
he's reading here. I mean, he as far as he's concerned, he could still be in the 18th century.
Where's the MacArthur part?
Yeah.
And then MacArthur came and he told the British, "We like the Queen very much.
All
We're
right.
going to have our own country now." Did you see that meme I sent you?
No.
It's worth putting up just for the full immaturity of it. Why not? I have no problem with this. It's so
How many
stupid.
was it? It was 1 by land, 2 by sea, and 3 by air. Was it?
Exactly. 3 by air. It's a British Airways Boeing jet. What is it?
It just goes to show you.
Shuhana Hussein.
It just goes to show you that you can overcome these things, even if you're completely outgunned in technology.
I mean, could you imagine? We were such brutal, ruthless guerrillas that we actually defeated the British when they had a fully equipped air force.
We should get the point about how unimportant air superiority is after our
Exactly.
Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break, head into the fun half. Just a reminder, join.